Okay.
Um,
Some of our advertising, I know you were talking a little bit about how do we advertise. Our number one advertising tool is word of mouth, past customers. We have a sign on our property. We don't have any signs out on the road. We're trying to stay as uncommercialized as possible. All our signage is older stuff, nothing that we've ever bought at stores, just something that we hand paint. That's done for a reason, to keep this as simple as we can. The very first advertising tool I had, even before I harvested a blueberry, were business cards. If you're serious about this, the first thing you need to do is go out and have yourself printed up about 1,000 business cards and give them to everybody you know. Stick them on every bulletin board anywhere in your community. Again, starting locally around in your area. If you're talking to somebody, give them some business card. Give them a business card. You need any blueberries? You need, hey, whatever you need, I got them for you. Give me a call. We have an answering machine. We have the old-fashioned dial-up phone in the office. The only reason we still have it is for an answering machine that we update periodically during the year. But during the season, we update it every day to let people know what berries we're picking. We have 5 different varieties. Some people like to know which ones. I keep them updated with the weather. If it's really hot, we only pick in the mornings, but the pickers are allowed to pick all day, but I try to warn them, get here early where the berries are firmer and when it's cooler. We do have a web page. We're into Facebook now. These are all things that my daughter and they're just being developed in the last couple of years. We need to probably do a much better job on both of those areas. We do run a radio ad about once a year towards the end of summer, towards the end of the harvest, especially when we know that we have quite a few berries left on the bushes, and we need people to come out and you pick them. Our kids are getting ready to go back to school, our regular pickers, so we usually run about a week's ad on a local radio station. It's $300 or $400. Again, it pays for itself, and usually about the first day, the amount of people that respond to it. So, okay. Anything else, girls, you want me to go on about?
this is Cinda. Could I ask a question?
Sure, Cinda.
You alluded to this, but not specifically, and I think it's really important that people understand how you look at your costs of production based on your different marketing streams, and that's pretty important, like the difference between what it costs and what you charge for on-farm, picked, local stores, farmers market, and all those different venues.
Yeah, that's really huge, and I kind of skipped over that just because it's a whole hour of, but we know down to the penny how much it costs us to market a berry each way that we do it. When we're to get the berries right on the bush, it doesn't matter how we're marketing them. That cost is a set cost. But once we start harvesting, if we have our pickers out there, I know what the cost per pound to have them picked. I know what the cost per pound to have them brought from the field into our shed. I know the cost per pound to have them sorted, whether they're being sorted into gallon bags, which is the best way because it's the biggest, or being sorted into the little pint containers, which is the most expensive. We can get them for about 5 cents a pound in the gallons. It's more like 8 cents a pound into our pint and quart containers. Then we've got to put them in our cooler. That's a little bit harder to determine the cost, but depending on how long they're in there, and actually in the last few years we haven't been using the cooler as much as we have in the past, but there's another 2 to 3 cents a pound. The cost of the paper products, which have just gone out the roof in the last few years, we still have to buy the gallon bags, but we just go to Costco, buy those by the pallet load. They're less than a penny a piece. So that's 5 pounds that are in a 1 penny bag with a label on it, and I use it as my labels now. I use my business card tucked into the bag. So it's accomplishing several things. It's got all the information on there, and they can pull that business card out and tack it on their wall also. And if they're selling that gallon into the store, I just stick a little sticker PLU number on the back. Well, that PLU number costs me, you know, a penny. The card itself costs me 4 cents or whatever. So, and then if I got to deliver those, I know what the delivery cost is. I've got to pay somebody to deliver them because I can't deliver all the berries anymore. So you're exactly right. I do that in the off season. I can tell you exactly how much per pound it costs me in each, however I'm packaging them, however I'm selling them, and that's hugely important to do. And you can't leave anything out. The first couple of years, I didn't count fuel. Well, I got to buy gas anyway. I'm not going to worry about gas. I wasn't the smartest guy in the world. But when you drive to Coeur d'Alene and to Post Falls, you're doing 3 times a week. You know, and back then, gas wasn't cheap. Fuel is a huge cost for us, huge cost. That's why now when we make deliveries or when we drive anywhere, I try to have no less than $1,000 worth of product in my car anytime I go anywhere. That's kind of a rule that we've set, unless it's a little sweet old lady down in Coeur d'Alene that needs her 5 gallons, and I'll drive myself down there and give it to her. So.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a very important part of looking at expanding into different markets is knowing the costs. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, it looks really good. You know, at the farmers market, for example, you know, I get the most money at the farmers market, but there's market fees. There's, you know, we got to package them a certain way. We've got to have, you know, those of you who've seen my market booth, it's not the most, you know, it's not real expensive, but it does cost money for the tables. If my daughter goes, that costs me a lot of money to pay for her. So there's expenses that go on, and plus they're getting the best berry. I'm getting the most of the berries. Excuse me, I'm getting the most money for those berries, and those are the best berries that go to the farmers market.
Thank you, Stan. We have one final question, and that's from Claire, and she just wants to know how many employees you have.
I have, you know, during the year, obviously, there's just me, and until harvest, I may hire a couple people to help me prune now and do some stuff. Now that we're making a little bit of money, I can get out of some of the jobs I don't like by hiring a local kid at $8 to $10 an hour to do something. I have a little money budgeted for that. But during the harvest, that's when we have our employees. I have probably 6 people that work in my packing shed. I have 3 people out in the field that are sorters and move berries around. And they're all my employees make anywhere from $8 to $10 an hour. It's all cash because they don't make any more than $600 a year, so it's all contract labor. I have a field supervisor that I pay. Last year she was making $15 an hour to run the field for me, but she's worth every penny of it. Without a field supervisor, I was losing poundage because people were weighing their own berries. And anyway, long story, she's worth every penny of that. Pickers, we can have anywhere from 100 plus pickers a day, and they're all getting paid by the pound. So the bookkeeping part of that, thank God for my daughter, is an enormous job. And the payday on Friday when they all get paid cash is an enormous job. But that's our employees. No full-time employees, just me.
Great. Thank you. That was a lot of information. It was all great. Thanks again, Stan.
Yeah.
Diane, well, would you like to introduce Tony?
Can I just say something really fast? I'm not seeing the slides moving. Are they supposed to be?
They will. They will be.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan. I always learn something, and you always inspire me to improve on my marketing and my record keeping and all of it.
It works both ways. I think I'm still behind the curve on you a little bit, but thank you very much.
Well, have a nice rest of the evening. And now I'm going to introduce Tony. And Tony didn't know I was going to put this picture here, but I had the opportunity to visit Tony's farm a couple of years ago for a Rural Roots event that we had there, and I just loved her barn. I loved everything about your place. It's just so beautiful, and what you have accomplished there and is remarkable. Your kids, and Tony has come into the classroom for me here in Sandpoint on the Sustainable Small Acreage Farming and Ranching course, and shared her experiences there, and her daughter has come with her a number of times and talked a bit too, so it's always a pleasure to hear what Tony has to say. And we can go on to the next slide, and thank you so much for joining us this evening, Tony.
Okay, I'm waiting to see the slide because that's what's going to prompt me for the next one. I know just from seeing it earlier that it's a picture of the barn. Still not seeing it.
You're not seeing anything?
All I'm seeing is still Stan's questions from the Riley Creek Blueberry Farm. I've only seen 2 of his slides, so yeah, I'm not seeing the slides. I'm not seeing if I need to do something at my end.
Well, let's go to next slide, and maybe what I will do. We're looking at the overview of your farm, so your computer is locked up, maybe.
Okay.
It's inevitable that we have glitches.
A glitch, of course.
I'm not sure how you would get that.
Okay, I'm there. I'm there now. We are a diversified 10-acre farm in North Idaho, raising meat and market gardening. This is a view a few years ago of our market garden. We've expanded some on that, and we've been on our farm for 15 years. And it's myself, my husband, and my 2 teenage children now. I have 2 adult daughters that are since off the farm, but they've all had to work on the farm. We've started out with just market gardening and selling plants. That's how I started. And we decided to raise meat for ourselves, and that just kind of snowballed into raising meat for other people. People found out that we had our own hogs and our own meat chickens, and then they started asking us if we could supply them, which, of course, that wasn't the route I thought I was going to go, but I was happy to accommodate customers. And so that's what we started doing. And so now 15 years later, we're doing meat chickens and turkeys and butcher hogs and steers. And it's been extremely rewarding to provide people with their meat, but it also has its challenges. We could go to the next